Good night to everyone. Good night to our Flambeau audience in the hall. And pleasant good night to all St. Lucians throughout the length and breadth of this country and those in the diaspora. I want to let you know that Flambeau means business. And I have to compliment the chairman and his team for going on the ground today. Ek mwetan Jis Virginia yonta canvas. Ek mwende kai vote by Flambeau. Now let me tell you something. This is serious business that we are on tonight. Now, how many times have Labour postponed the match that they announced? Huh? How many times? 3 times. How long have they been in government? Now what is the match called? The match of progress. So for 3 years and 3 times they have postponed the progress and development of St. Lucia. Because how could you postpone a match for progress? The only reason why you would postpone a match for progress is because you have postponed progress. So vle fè progrès à Labour Party, but Labour Party même a postponed progress. Ek yo ha postpone ni même otata yo ha gouvernement. Now, here's another one. You know, you ever hear anything like that? So you put an alarm at your home. The alarm sounds, makes all the noise. But the thief comes and the thief steals the things in the house and go because you didn't listen to the alarm. Who you blaming for the thief? You blaming the alarm or you blaming the thief? Now you must be wondering, what am I saying here? Labour Party is blaming the alarm rather than blaming the volley. We sound the alarm about CIP. We told you we would lose our corresponding banking. Kisa Labour Party kadu. Se Alan Chasne ki vle ped corresponding banking. So how can you blame the alarm and not the thief? Who is stealing? Where is Galaxy with our money? Who gave Galaxy the license to take our money? So, I want you to understand how much Labour Party insults the intelligence of the people of St. Lucia. Now, they cannot insult the intelligence of Flambeaus. Because every right-thinking St. Lucian supports the United Workers' Party. I mean, you heard Shelton. What did Shelton say? You want me to be objective? Now, a man who is being paid to be on a radio station to speak, and the man tell you he has no objectivity. He does not know what it is to be objective. And then he tell you if Labour Party is a disease, he is incurable. It's not if Labour Party is a disease. Labour Party is a disease. Every time Labour is in office, St. Lucia suffers. What causes people to suffer? Palona disease. Launa malad. Labor Party sa maladi. That is why St. Lucians suffer. And I'm always puzzled as to why did we elect the St. Lucia Labour Party into office. And that is for St. Lucians. Why? Because I want us to understand, if the country, now listen to this, Richard Frederick said, Castries Central is now the safest seat for Labour. So Richard and the Labour Party is aware that the handwriting is on the wall in Viewfort North, Viewfort South, and Labrie. Richard Kidi. Now let me tell you, Richard has a program every Thursday night where he comes and echoes the sentiments of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Richard is a minister in the Prime Minister's office. So tout léger dit Lautan Richard Kapalo, savez kadou, Commission Philippe J. Pierre, ni pour voyer by Saint-Lucien, et qui passe à voyer même, so il a servi Richard pour voyer. Now Philippe s'en honte tellement. The man is sitting there. Right there, Richard walks in, KDA, Kenny Davis Anthony. If you did not know, his other name is Davis. So that's why they call him KDA. Kenny Davis Anthony. The next one, he says, Philip, my boy. Now we made the Philip Mosozoe. Because Philip Sampatan. Because Philip now in an interview says, if Richard said that. Are you understanding what I'm saying here? You are right there. The man walking. Okay? He said his thing in your presence. He acknowledged you. And you saying, if he said it, you will reprimand him. So say Philip Mosso Zoe, you hear? Because si una whole Zoe, lapan pies manye, upatan sa Richard dia. Now listen to me. I'm not a comedian, you know. Philip is a comedian. I am talking factual information. I did not make it up. I saw Philip talking to the reporter as if he was not there. He did not hear. So si Philip patela, then say bolomli Richard Tekuye, Philip my boy. Because I told you, the Labour Party, they're losing their mind. Joachim dise pali kita l'église là. Are you understanding what is happening here in our beautiful country? Now, I want the people of St. Lucia to know a couple of things. I know that Alan Chasney is better than Philip J. Pierre, whether in opposition or in government. I know that. But when Philip J. Pierre himself can acknowledge that Alan Chasney is more powerful than him as opposition leader than Philip J. Pierre as prime minister. Now you may want to ask me, Guy, what you talking about? What did Philip say? He said that Alan Chasney can cause us to lose our corresponding banking relationship? How can the leader of the opposition be more powerful than the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre? I want you to take time and listen to these fellas when they speak and interpret correctly what they are telling you. You know, they tell us something about reading between the lines. Well, that is reading between the lines. Because how can you tell your people the same things we have been saying? Your child at school, you will not be able to transfer money to them. We told you that if that thing continues with CIP as it is, you will not be able to buy from Shein and Amazon. You will not be able to buy things online. Y'all not listening to us. So all of a sudden, Philip J. Pierre realized something is coming down the pipeline. So who does he want to blame? Now, if Alan can cause us to lose our corresponding banking in opposition, he can reinstate it in government overnight. So Philip, you don't know what to do. Fele by nom kisako duya pay, puko dui pay. When you can do something, you can do make or aside. Ek by mun kisa handle by pu handle. Now I know I have a political leader who can manage the affairs of St. Lucia. And every international institution respects and regards Alan Michael Chasney. So Philip, I know you have limitations, but I did not realize your limitations was so much. Now the Labour Party seem to forget when they want to blame UWP. Who said they were going to write to investors to tell them not to invest in St. Lucia? Because you have a top mauvais. So, when Alan Chasney was Prime Minister, there was a talk briefly about corresponding banking. And that had nothing to do with what we had done in government. Because that happened very early in the term. That had everything to do with how Labour had managed the affairs. You remember St. Lucia was blacklisted? Who worked to remove St. Lucia on the blacklist? The Prime Minister, Alan Michael Chasney. When there was that move in America, not in the Caribbean, who went to the US? Called the airlines, JetBlue, called the cruise ships, everybody who was doing business with St. Lucia, and got them to realize if St. Lucia lose its corresponding banking, or the region was to lose its corresponding banking, not St. Lucia, because it was a regional issue, that JetBlue would go bankrupt in a week. The wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of Alan Chasney of international affairs knew the right people to call. And within days, a letter was dispatched to DC, and that was reversed. Y'all, am I had the hot? Nebat mun safe Prime Minister St. Lucia usaf. Is when you go in the international arena, you know whether you have a real Prime Minister or whether you have a fake Prime Minister. When you go and face the World Bank, when you go and face the IMF, Now, Philip, why Lord yes easy to see justice was done? Not that you said? Le volé un Range Rover qui l'a meublé porté plainte contre moi. Qui te register un non High Commission na l'Angleterre. Mettez un container et bien direct c'est mon qui te travaille à High Commission na. Mais un container et mené de Saint-Lucie. Et là Saint-Lucie. Machine and I saw Chico there. And we knew that the entry has not been perfected up to now. And as long as your entry is not perfect, it is not closed. Why Lord yes Philip J. Pierre? You went there to see that justice was done. Now St. Lucians want justice. Depuis João Martinez qui a invité vini Washington DC. Pour qui ça paye Washington? Ou passe ou mouton pas vie? You afraid if you all go up, you all won't come back? Not me, you all said that couldn't go to America. Huh? I going up and down. Why are you afraid, Philip? I mean, St. Lucians, I want us to take time and understand this thing, you know. A man says that I have evidence to show you that your country is in trouble. I didn't file a case against you yet. I didn't do anything. All I'm asking you, come and see if the evidence is valuable. Come and see if what I say I have makes sense. You refuse to go, and today we're going to lose our corresponding banking. You want to blame Alan Chasney and the United Workers' Party? I want St. Lucians to understand what I am saying. Because you all paying passage, you all going to Dubai, you all going to Algeria, you all traveling all over the world. How much does it take to take 2 days to go to Washington, D.C.? See the evidence, listen to it, and tell Martinez, Beti Zukapalila. Upan pièce evidence à cette lycée. My petamwe ek pale bawako. That's too much for you to do to protect the integrity and the good name of St. Lucia. And then you want to say, if Martinez invite me, I go in, you know. Because I want to see what is there. Now, you take kwese Alan yon ki pahatras king. A snake is always a snake. A scorpion is always a scorpion. You know the story about the scorpion and the frog? When the scorpion had to cross the river, and the scorpion said, the scorpion asked the frog for a ride across. And the frog said, boy, I don't trust you. If I give you a ride across, you will sting me. The scorpion said, boy, I won't sting you because if I sting you, both of us will die anyway. So the frog took the chance. Midway, what did the scorpion do? And what did it say to the frog? That's my nature. A snake is always a snake. So you take away, say only dimanche soir later su program like Alan qui dit tout bail bon ek lundi swing. But he was supposed to swing since the no confidence motion. Because Sean said in the parliament, that's not what you told us. So he was speaking to Labour since then. Today, Labour is learning through the back door that he's speaking to Martinez. Kisa Stevenson King, Kadi Martinez. You see the trouble we are in this country? We have a set of men running this country and no one trusts the other. So the CEO goes by himself with his wife. I hear Levi Martinez for Bayantishas. Today we are hearing Stevenson King has been speaking to Martinez. Now, is Stevenson King speaking because he doesn't know where the money is, or is he speaking because he knows where the money is? You see, I will not try to answer that question. Philip, when you go to cabinet with Steve tomorrow, ask him, why was he speaking to Martinez? Because you see, we have to come to terms that our country is in trouble, not just because of international pressure, but because of bad governance. They want to say, upatan about Ukraine war. Upatan about this. Upatan about that. You know who is to blame? The government of St. Lucia. Now you remember secret deals. What did Emma say? She had a secret meeting. And up to now, we don't know what was discussed at that secret meeting. Now, I want to tell you something. I want to place it on the record. Alan Chasney, as leader of the opposition, can do nothing to make us lose our corresponding banking. Alan Chasney, as leader of the opposition, can do nothing to make us keep our corresponding banking in place. But Alan Chasney, as Prime Minister of St. Lucia, can do everything to re-establish our corresponding banking if Labour causes us to lose it. But we will lose years. Metan Philip JP Kadi yome US dollars abo plane pu I pay debt St. Lucie. And that happened in a Caribbean island for true. We know it. But I want you to understand, we have sounded the alarm. The Chamber of Commerce, the Bar Association, the Medical and Dental Association, the Farmers Organization, the churches, all civil society groups. Hot kakase bwanzoi hot. Hot kafe akodi hot patan sa because se Flambeau kadi. But tato. When the damage is done, ek yo kay private jet. Ek se saki hanila upatan ko Martinez di sab ko laha ye. So leyon laha yo ek yo ay esto we ko yo ada plus. Ek yo dispawet. What will happen to you and your children in this country? That is what you have to ask yourself as a right-thinking St. Lucian. You remember when the French put a notice out warning the French people about their safety in St. Lucia. Who did he try to blame for it? He said it was Alan Chasney. According to Invader, everything is Alan do this, Alan do that. But I know Alan did this and Alan did that. But that was for the progress and development of St. Lucia. Everything good in this country was done by Alan Michael Chasney in his 5 years in government. Now, what did they tell us? They told us they will revoke every illegal citizenship that had been issued by the Alan Chasney-led government. It is 3 years. You mean you have not found one yet? Which means that Alan has a perfect record when it came to how CIP was handled under the United Workers' Party. Guamundu parti e boyo ek mete pai. Me Saint Lucien ya degree sa. Nou tie boyo ek nou mete pai. Mai du ki mun ki pai la. Now, even the SLP knows that Pierre is not prime minister material. You remember what Christopher Hunt said? You remember he said Pierre was just an interim measure for them to win the election, but Pierre is supposed to be replaced because the Labour Party knows that Pierre does not have the capacity and the capability to lead this country. Now, Tana Kuyon Tuyako, a man who is Minister of National Security, who has been elected and paid by the people to protect the people. People dying every day in this country, gun violence, accidents because of bad roads, all kinds of things. And you know what Pierre says? Pierre says, well, y'all need to protect me. You didn't have him telling the people at the conference, y'all will protect me. Exekuyon akaklap baisa. Can you imagine? Richard D. come here for me, yo clap baisa. The Minister of National Security is saying to the people, y'all need to protect me, rather than he protecting the people. And the people clapping for that. For a country with the fastest running woman in the world to behave that kind of way, Veite, Mahav. You know, now, if you did not know about the Talvan project, since we're in Babonneau, I implore every one of you. Timothy Mangal had a sit-in with Champagne last week Friday. Go and listen to the recording of that program, and you will understand what has happened. Now, my Richard, I have a whole file of letters there. But because of time, I will not be able to read it. But when I go and meet Champagne, I will read them. That is not the first time the Labour Party has done that. I have the letters where they stopped the River Dore project. When they stopped the River Dore project, you know what it cost St. Lucians? The contractor had not done much work. He sent in his request. The Labour Party stopped the project and refused to pay him. 2 years, they refused to pay him. But even though I cannot go through all the letters, I want to show you when one government makes a bad decision, who pays for it. This is a letter addressed. The lighting is not so good here. So this letter was addressed to the Honorable Guy Joseph, Minister of Economic Development. And it says, Dear Minister Joseph, we continue to act herein on behalf of our client, and I will choose not to mention the client, We write to you in your capacity as minister with responsibility for the NHC. And here's what they say. Our client's claim is for the sum of $6,149,779.48 pursuant to judgment of the High Court dated 25th March 2016 and filed on the 26th of March 2015 and broken down as follows. Principal payment, $4,800,000, just rounding off the figure. Had the interest in the judgment. The interest rate of 6% per year from May 2nd of May 2012 to 31st of August 2016, 1,538 days at $805.21 per day. You know who issued that contract? Richard Frederick. Under the Stevenson King-led UWP administration. And I have the letters in my possession where the NHC had written to the contractor terminating his contract. And I have the letter where the engineer said in the meeting, the contractor called the minister to overrule the decision of the NHC board and tell the man to continue with the project. And you know what that project cost us? The Alan Chasney-led administration was faced with a lawsuit from the court to pay the $6 million for land that belonged to us. They put it in an English company. You see, what Labour Party does is nothing new. Labitilio febai koshi. So the same way they stopped the project, and it cost us millions of dollars, the same way they stopped Talvan, and it is costing St. Lucians millions of dollars. You all heard Philip J. Pierre. He said he will pay the money. Now, Mr. Prime Minister, Alan Chasney, when you become Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre never said he's taking money from the consolidated fund to pay the difference. Philip J. Pierre said, I will pay the difference. I hope it's from his bank account, and I hope it's from his savings. He pays the difference and not from the taxpayers of this country. Because you know very well you gave Richard license. Without your approval, he could not stop the project. So now you say you're not selling the land for the $16. You're going to sell it for $14.50, and if NHC is losing any money, you will pay the difference. You never said was the people of St. Lucia. Now, the people's money is not yours, Philip. Even if you think so, it is not yours. And I want you to understand. Stevenson King said some of us should go to jail. You remember that? And he was referring to the St. Jude project. Now, mahadiyo, madubayak maniyo. Here's what the report on St. Jude says. The only retrievable application to DCA for approval to retain the use of the old St. Jude is dated 22nd April 2016. Stevenson King and Kenny Anthony, the two prime ministers, who worked on the old St. Jude project, none of them had sought DCA approval. The approval they requested was in 2016. The project started in 2010. In April of 2016, when the UWP was campaigning and saying there's no DCA approval, Yoku Ivo by DCA. And I have the documents to show you that DCA rejected it because it never met the requirements. Now, I have the contract for the site preparation that Stevenson King spoke about. When he said people should go to jail. I will read one paragraph to you. Whereas the employer desires the works known as the site preparation works at the site for the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project, hereafter called the works, should be executed by the contractor and has accepted the bill by the contractor, the bid, not the bill. La yo do nou pa bidan yen, nou pa fan yen. Has accepted the bid by the contractor for the execution and completion of the works and the redemnifying of any defects therein for the contract price of $7,784,126.96. So when Stevenson King came and told you all the lies about the United Workers' Party when he jumped ship and went over to the Labour Party, some people in St. Lucia believed him. Why up to today they come in and check Guy Joseph? Where is the special prosecutor? Because when plea document pour mener special prosecutor l'audience, passe prosecutor sa mene mwen l'audience. But I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting. Because it is time St. Lucia understand. You are given a 6 for a 9 by the Labour Party. You are fooled. A lot of us, including Flambeau's, some of my cabinet colleagues believe what Labour Party was saying, even though they sat together with us. But I always tell them, I want any one of them to stand the scrutiny that Guy Joseph has stood. I also have the cabinet conclusion in my possession. When the Linguist Commission of Inquiry was commissioned in 2012. And I have the report. And the report has more about Stevenson King and Tony Leo than it has about Guy Joseph. And it has Alison Ja. Try pretend that I do right on top. C'est pas bon moi contracteur te gen furniture. Et quand toujours voulez porter le plainte contre moun, bring me to court. Let me come with the evidence. Because you see, labor rights believe that Guy Joseph is an easy target. Wrong tree. Wrong tree. Because I want you all to understand, if there's one thing I pride myself on, is my integrity. And Labour Party can search Pierre Recommission Linguist. It's 2 years. They're paying Linguist. And I have a letter there how much they were paying Peter Foster. $1,083 per hour to defend the case for NHC. And we still lost the case in court. And the Alan Chasney government Labour Party qui prend pour faire avocat ou savent. Yo pet case là. Après yo te capé main lawyer 1,000 plus. Assistantly 800. Ex assistant là qui a bas assistant là 300 per hour. You see, we warned, we encouraged, we told you Philip could not run the country, but you didn't believe us. I want us to know, people, we are not in trouble by accident. We are in trouble because we chose the wrong set of people to run this country. That's why I told the special prosecutor, brother man, come and check me. I will put you on the right track. Now I'm coming to Mr. Reno Gajada. You see, John Peters thinks he's so bright and he's so smart. When Reno wanted to price the project on the old St. Jude, who he called for advice? Guy Joseph. You see in this country, because you don't go and say everything you know, people feel they can walk over you and they can say what they want and they can get away with it. But I tell them, I can deal with this. Now Reno, nu tule deni mem shivea, so bahas mat pase mo. So I want you to understand, when you come and make big noise, you looking for 300 workers. Utehani plow. Plende has we potla pawe pukite. Now, I don't know if it's rumor or if it's true. So I'm holding back on the 300 workers I heard that came in. But I know that there are 100 plus Indian workers at St. Jude. So, you said 200 years ago people used to come to St. Lucia and work and help build St. Lucia. Under the United Workers' Party, under Alan Chasney and Guy Joseph, as Minister of Economic Development, Alan was Minister of Finance. We executed $83 million of projects on the DVRP. 113 projects, and every single project went out to tender. And St. Lucian contractors got all 113 projects. $83 million worth of projects executed by St. Lucians. So, Mr. Reno, you said on Team's program, you got more work under the Alan Chasney administration than you will ever get under Labour. Why you did not have to import one worker under Alan Chasney? So now you have less work. Is now you bring in more workers? So how when Alan Chasney was Prime Minister, there were enough workers in St. Lucia for Reno to get workers, for Fresh Start to get workers, for Nationwide, for Skelly, for Jameson, you name, CPAL, name all the major contractors. There was no shortage of workers in St. Lucia. Can you imagine an ling yon boudran shime nga pase ki jou sa? Bo koutan moun ka draw ling an tou. I know everywhere in the world you repair the road and then you draw the lines. You put the markings. Isn't that how it is? The road have holes at the droid lines. You know, the snake know how to do things, you know. Monsieur so simple. She may need to a quadrilingual, did I mean, you have to ask yourself. So, St. Lucians, there are many unemployed young men in this country. There are many laborers, carpenters, masons who want a day's work. But they want a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. And Reno, if you're not getting workers, it's because you're not paying. And now my problem is not with Reno. Who gave these people that came in work permits? Now I know the procedure for getting work permits. You have to advertise in the newspaper, 2 consecutive newspapers. My brother and I used to run a machine shop, so I know. And machinist was very limited in St. Lucia at that time. So you know what? Before you could train people, you needed to keep the workshop going. So you put advertisements in the newspaper, nobody qualifies for the job, then you're entitled to get a work permit. They don't have laborers in this country. They don't have masons and carpenters. What work is Reno doing at St. Jude that he cannot find local workers to do? When all the work Fresh Start did down there was done by local workers, especially from the south. So, Philip J. Pierre is in a conspiracy with Reno. How is Reno getting all the contracts and he getting workers? So the exploitation of the workers of this country is facilitated by the office of the Prime Minister. There's only one way of correcting that. You have to bring back the United Workers' Party to fix this country. And I will tell you, there's only one time that the cost of living will go down, is when you return Alan Chasney as Prime Minister of this country. There's nothing that Philip J. Pierre will do to make life easier for you. So my people of St. Lucia, Flambeau, I know you're going to go out and vote your party. But we need every St. Lucian from all walks of life to send one message to Labour Party. When a mother cannot feed her children because the cost of living is too high, because $1 can no longer buy 4 loaves, but 2. It means that we pa tout moun coupe aba labor. You want to eat well? You want to do well? You want to be progressive? There's only one solution to this. We will return the United Workers' Party.